Cześć, tu Sofii. Witaj w Holistyka Studio. Bardzo dziękuję, że tu jesteś. Jeśli masz ochotę na wspólne spotkania, zachęcam do lajkowania, subskrybowania i włączenia powiadomień. Hello, guys. Namaste, beautiful souls. Today, welcome to another sacred conversation. That will be a new series of heart space, Satsang. I can tell that will be like a gentle soul meetings in English, first time. So today, I have the honor of sharing this space with someone who carries not only deep spiritual wisdom but also rare humility and grace. The Kamaljit is a professor, my great friend, a lawyer with multiple master degrees, and on the same time, he's a devoted student of ancient yogic science at one of the world's most famous, the International Yoga Institute in Mumbai. And I want to share with you a thought that once came up in our talk and has stayed in with me ever since. It says, connected to everything, attached to nothing. And we often think that detachment means disconnecting from love or people. But what if that the path of deeper peace and unconditional present is that? Let's explore this together with Kamaljit because he knows more and he can explain this topic today. So, Kamaljit, can you tell few sentences about you? Like, just introduce yourself and then tell me what does connected to everything, attached to nothing means to you personally.
Thank you, Sophie. Namaste to one and all. A very good morning from Mumbai, India. 7:03 in the morning. You have told a lot about me. I really am not so great. When you look at me through your eyes, it's the difference. It is like when I look at myself, I think I am nothing. But when you see me, that's your greatness and that's your humility to see the other person. We all see our own reflection when we see outside. It's all reflection, it's all Maya. Whatever we are inside, that's what we see outside. So, whatever you told about me, it defines who you are as a beautiful soul, as a learned soul, as a person with immense wisdom. So, thank you. What can I say about myself? The lesser I speak, it's better. I'm still a student. I'm a student and I wish to remain a student always at heart to learn from even a speck of dust, even a small ant, all the things which I need to gather or to rather to understand on this journey called life. So, when we talk about to everything and attached to nothing, now we have to understand two important concepts where this comes from. The whole concept of attachment is nothing but a sense of who is insecure. Let's understand. When I say I, who am I? Am I this body? Am I only this meat bag? Well, there is something more than this subtle body and a gross body. So the subtle body is not only within this, but it's all around this. So it's Brahman, it's Atman, the consciousness, it's the soul. We have different words for the same essence. Let's understand the concept of attachment, which is by the mind. Mind is also one of the subtle bodies of this unit. When I say unit, this individual, the word individual means indivisible. Further division is not possible. That's why it's individual. Has its own software. Rather, it will be more better to say it is a software. This body is the hardware. Like suppose we have the mobile phone or a device or a computer. What we see externally, the frame, the screen, touch, the buttons, is this body. And what is working behind system? What is working behind this system is the software called mind. We are not only the body, we are not only the mind, but we are somebody who's observing that. So when we are observing this program, there is a software good, there is a hardware on which it is playing, but we are different. We are not disconnected, but we are different from this system called the mind and the body. So the software called mind has its own program, and one of the program is fear. Another program is love and compassion. So when there is fear, there is a fear of losing something. Let's say fear of losing the identity. When I say identity, the mind has its own identity. Oh, I am a lawyer. So there is one identity. Oh, I am a yoga student, another identity. Oh, I am this, I am that. Now, this identity is very dear to the mind. It's very close to the mind. The mind says, I don't want to lose creation which I have created. And it gets attached. Now, it doesn't want to leave this. Now, this is one of the things what we understand that when we are able to make a distinction, make a difference between the mind and the soul. We call it consciousness, we call it Atman, we call it Brahman. When we understand that we are different from this soft, so this attachment gets melted, it gets transformed into a higher level of understanding that's connected to the software. We get connected hardware, but we are with an understanding, with an wisdom that we are not this. So when we understand this in the mind, body, and the soul connection, the attachment gets dissolved. It has to dissolve. That's the law of nature. Till the time, if I think I am this device on which I can see you, or I misunderstand myself that, oh, this is an illusion, but I don't know. I see myself as, and I take that as the only reality. But the moment I know that I am not there, at that moment, it doesn't matter whatever happens in the screen because I am just an observer. I'm just observing. Whole
Mhm.
purpose is to understand the observation and to stay in that
Mhm.
observation and not to go with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, this is a place where Buddha uses a beautiful word. He uses his word in the Indian, one of the Indian languages called Pali. He says, "Tathastha." That, that means you have to be a mere observer on a bank of a river. Now, this is a river of life. Life is flowing every moment. And when we become, then we are disconnected. We are not attached. Rather, disconnection is another aspect where rather we are not attached to that flow. Yet we are sitting on the bank and observing whatever
Mhm.
happen. We are not
Mhm.
controlling the flow.
Mhm.
We are observing and we are one with the flow, but not going with the flow. No, this is very beautiful. When we go deep inside, we become one with the whole universe. We become synchronized in the harmony of the energies all around us.
But how
And this
that
is a place.
Okay, no, go
Sorry.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Come, please come, because I will go on and on. Yes.
But how detachment brings more peace and clarity in a everyday experience, like in a daily life?
Yes.
Because we try to explain, in the simple language,
When
people
there is
maybe a little bit less experienced that.
uh,
You know what I mean?
not attached with the result, so we are not expecting anything at that moment. So when we are not expecting, there is another essence of acceptance. When there is acceptance, there is no preconceived notion of a result coming in a certain way. But the result of my actions in a certain way. Well, I have only control over my action. I have no control over the results. This is what the Bhagavad Gita message. This is what Krishna gave the message to his student Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. That was a great war of Mahabharata. Well, we will talk about Mahabharata some other day. That's a great war constantly going on within this body, this mind. And that's a struggle we all have to undergo war. And we have to come out of that war from a point of understanding the result is not in our hand. So when we have this standing that the result is not in my hand, whatever it comes, then I'm not attached to the result. It's like a small child sitting on the banks of a sea or a river and playing with the sand. He creates a house and he destroys it, breaks it. He makes something from the sand and breaks it. He enjoys it, but he's not attached to that creation. So when we are in that space of being the creators, well, when I say being the creators, let's understand that we also are creators of something at a physical level, as a man, as a woman, we create another man and a woman, another life. At a mental level, we create a lot of stories, lot of realities, lot of illusions, a lot of facts and lot of fictions. So we are also a replica of the divine creator. We also have the power to create. But in our wisdom, when we create something, then we are not even attached to that creation. Now that's called Vairagya Bhava. Let me understand. Let me take you to a deeper understanding of these words, Vairagya and Bhava. So the first word, Vairagya, the Sanskrit words, Sanskrit is the mother of all the Indo-European languages. So I will try. In Sanskrit, Vairagya means without any attachment. Rag is attachment. Now, this has to come with an understanding. The understanding comes through an effort. Now, I am learning this every day. There are certain yogic postures, there are certain yogic asanas which help us, to understand the concept of being detached. So, as we were talking before, the yogic asanas, what we perform, the postures, what we perform, have a psychosomatic effect as a somatopsychic effect. So, from the mind to the body, and from the body to the mind. So, the mind, when the body is in a certain posture, suppose I make this posture, this is a half posture in a yoga asana called Garudasana. So there are certain asanas which are balance asanas, which have an impact on the mind, like the forward bending asanas makes the mind rather more flexible and letting go the things. Now this is also very interesting concept of letting. So when there is no attachment, There is letting go.
Okay, but that then it's another question. So, but how we can practice attachment without closing our hearts, like become cold and distant? It's about relationship with other people. Like, is it truly possible to love people and not be emotionally dependent? See, because that's the first question in my mind always. Like, okay, be detached. So, what does that mean? We have wives, husbands, or friends. How I can detached from some relationship.
Very beautiful question. When we understand ourselves,
Mhm.
that is a time when we understand everything else. It's not about the other person. It's not about detachment from the relationships. It's not about detachment from the world, not running away in some forest in jungle and staying there without eating or drinking. Well, that's also a form of detachment. That is in another branch of yoga called Hatha Yoga. Well, we don't practice Hatha Yoga in today's world here in Mumbai, sitting in this busy life, but we practice something called Ashtang Yoga. So in that's Ashtang, 8 steps of yoga. So it takes letting go, which is also very similar sounding word to give,
Huh?
but they are the two sides of the same coin. They sound similar, but they are different. They are not same. So when we give up on a relationship, we give up on some person. This is sounding like detached, but somewhere there is a pain in giving up. Giving up is not easy. Giving up is by a weak mind, but a strong and a brave mind would let go with compassion, let go with you, let go with wisdom. Now, this is being connected and not attached. When we give up, we are still attached because there will be pain of giving up.
Mhm.
This pain comes from attachment.
Mhm.
If we explore ourselves to a deeper level, so from giving up to letting go is a shift. This is transforming. So it's not about the other person. It's not about the situation. It's not about the. It's about. So some situation. Let's you like to eat something very delicious in a
Mhm.
situation where there is a need for the body to eat something. You have a choice either to eat a pastry or to consume uh, trifla. So, so when I want to like push myself and go to a extent of giving up on the pastry and I want to consume the trifla, somewhere in back of my mind, I will still have a hankering and a craving for the pastry. But when I understand that what is benefit the trifla, the way it is, some may find it very unpleasant to drink.
Sometimes very earthy
Yes,
taste.
yes, yes, yes. And this is the attachment to the taste.
Mm.
The attachment is of the mind always, and the connection is from the heart. To again, new two concepts. The heart, when I say heart, is not only this biological heart here. I'm talking about the consciousness. When we are connected to our own consciousness, a magic happens. We get connected to everything around us. We become part, or rather, we are the part of the whole universe. We are a small bit of this large picture. Like in a jigsaw puzzle, there are millions of small pieces. Everything is important. Without even a single piece, the jigsaw remains incomplete. So in this whole larger universe, we are also that part which remains connected. But that happens when we become inclusive of the entire picture. When we become try to be that I am special, I am different.
Mhm.
This is the creation of mind. And this creation is coming from the I-ness. I am like this. I am like this. This is called ahankar, ego. Ego is from ignorance. Two types of egos. One is an ego of ignorance, and one is an ego of enlightenment. Something new to understand. We used to think that ego is bad, but when we understand that I am this consciousness, I am not this body, this is my body, I am not this mind, this is my, but I am the pure soul, I am the pure consciousness. So, this I being the consciousness, I being this awareness, this is also I-ness, this is also ahankar, but this is sattvic ahankar, or we can say this is
'Cause they are a reflection of us. There's a reflection of us that the mirror.
absolutely everything outside a reflection. Other person, the animals, the plants, the universe, simply a reflection. It looks real to us, but more closer to that is this universe, this person, this mind, this body. And there is not only one person in this body. In the world of illusion, there are hundreds of personalities. Well, hundreds is also very small, endless, because we have been collecting these personalities in our innumerable life cycles. We have been coming to this planet, in this universe, because we come here to learn new things. So
Mhm.
those personalities are also within. So we relate to that also. And when we connect to that personality, we start seeing the outside world also like, well, that may not be the, that may be just an illusion because it's coming from our past.
Mhm.
That when the understanding develops, when the understanding grows, goes to a different dimension, transformation happens. And from giving up on people, we let go people.
Mhm. Mhm.
The more we try to control, the more it tries to.
Mhm.
There is a beautiful line, let me recall it. The more you let me, it will come to me. I'm trying to recall because I'm trying to recall. That's why it's going ahead of me. It will come to me. A to look at it is that you turn around. When
Mhm.
we chase the shadow and we are not able to chase the shadow, we get, but the shift happens when we shift ourselves 180 degrees. And now the shadow will follow.
Mhm.
The shadow is connected to, but when
Mhm.
we get detached to it, it follows us. In the same way,
Mhm.
whatever the mind creates, when we have a transformational shift, we get connected to those things without getting attached. Then things remain the same, but our perspective, now our attitude, this is called bhava
Mhm.
in Sanskrit, Bhava, bhava. Now, bhava, the attitude towards the same shift with a sense of gratitude, with a sense of
Mhm.
compassion. Now, here the wisdom rises, start rising in the light. rising. I was listening to this word long back, very beautiful word. We all fall in.
Yeah, that's why I mentioned. I remember when we talk about it. Yeah, so what is the different, like a fall in love, and you said rising in love, right? Remember?
When we have attachment to something, in our ignorance, we fall down. We fall down from our understanding of who we really, from the highest chakra to the lowest chakra. We fall, that's falling. But
Mm-hmm.
when we have an understanding with wisdom that who I am is not this body, who I am is not this mind, there is a rising, there is an awakening. This is also called Kundalini awakening, the
Yeah,
shift in the energy.
we just talk about the Kundalini energy in the my other episode in my podcast. So that's we're gonna talk about it because I want to know your perspective. It's a little bit different in your culture, right, than Kundalini in the Western. It's a huge difference and gap, I can tell. In understanding what is it, Kundalini energy and awakening. Yeah, so we're gonna talk about it another time. But if you
On
can
that
tell,
next time, we will try to connect that gap, which you said there is a gap
yeah,
within the
yeah,
understanding. So we will
fill the
connect
gap
that gap. We
or
will
just
connect
connect.
that
You're
gap.
right. Yeah. You're right. Right. But if we can tell for someone listening today who wants to begin the journey of letting go, so what is the first small step they can take in a daily life?
The most important aspect for me, if I was in that place,
Mm-hmm.
keep myself rather in that place, is an understanding of the way the things are, they are perfect. The way
Mm-hmm.
people are, they are perfect. Everybody is doing very important, and they are only doing what they need. Now, this is very need that when we desire that they should do something according to my desire, there is a there is no
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so when we accept that whatever everybody is doing is according to their need, this is beautiful. There is a gratitude which will flow that this body, this person, this beautiful is doing something what is needed for the universe.
Mm-hmm.
But because I am unable to see the larger, I think he should do things according to my desire. And then there is
Mm-hmm.
a conflict. So,
Mm-hmm.
as a beginner, very important to understand and accept the journey starts from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's also to get it, like we will be like less stress, more relaxed if we just accept. We're not gonna fight with that because whatever we cannot change. I learned that, so I accept. Like you said, it can always we are responsible for the reaction, but we not responsible for majority of things happen on around us, right? If we just accepted that they are the things that we cannot change, just accept. Because are so stressed
Yes, every
because war here and there, and like, oh my gosh, the prices are high, this and that, so they so stressed. The things are here, like we cannot change it, so just accept it. So it's just I feel like I just dropped a huge backpack from my you know back. For many years we just carry with us so heavy, we think like we can change it, but just accept the things that they are. That's it. It's like so simple. It's also so hard to understand, like sometimes. And once you get it, then it sounds simple. But just surrender and acceptance. That for me, it was a game changer, right?
surrender is a surrender of our
Mm-hmm.
when we surrender to the greater power, the power which is governing this universe. So everything,
Mhm.
the earth goes at such a high speed around its own axis. It revolves and rotates at the same time around the sun. But
Mhm.
nothing falls. Nothing falls off from the earth. It is so perfect. When everything is so perfectly being organized by the divine, we need to surrender to that power that everything happening here also is perfect. So,
Mhm.
with the surrender to that super intelligence which is within me, which has given me this birth from a speck of dust, I came to,
Mhm.
and it became so beautifully. It manifested so beautifully. How I was a dust. So, let me take you to my reverse engineering fraction of time. So 50 years, I am 53 years today. Before 53 years, this body was in the mother 9 months. This body was not even a, it was just a, before the cell, it was a sperm and an ovum. Before this body was a sperm, this body was with millions of other sperms rather when it came home. And I was the chosen one. I was a lucky one
Exactly,
who
yeah.
who got the opportunity. Like the Bible says, you are the so we were chosen. But before that, also I was plasma in my father. Before I was plasma, I was this body. Before I was blood, I was a food in my father's body. Before I was food, I was a plant or some other living thing on this earth. Before I was a plant, I was it needed the earth, the dirt, the soil. So I was a soil. The journey starts rather beyond that. But in my relative context where I can perceive with my five senses, I see my journey from the dust to this point, and so beautiful. How everything grows, whatever we need. We were not able to communicate to the mother, I am hungry, but the mother gave.
Mhm.
It took care of my hunger. It took care of my nutrition. It took care of my development. So when we are surrendering to that, all the needs, whatever the needs are, will always be fulfilled. The child needs the milk when he's just out of. But if the child desires to have an ice cream, at mother will not give. The mother will only give the warm milk from.
Mhm.
So that's a need. Whatever is the need, mother you need. But
Mhm.
when there is a desire and we are struggling with those desires, that's the time ego comes up. I have. And when it is not full, there is. We have to understand: are we giving up, or the moment there is a clarity of go, there is freedom from the shackles of attachment. Attachments are like golden chains. They bind. And the moment we let go, the chains release. They release from our ego, our I-ness, false ego. And that's where the connection happens with our soul, with our awareness, with our consciousness, with the Brahman within. This is the shackle between the mind and the consciousness. This chain of, because the mind understands in the illusion to be this universe, to be this body. But we are not this body. We are not this. This is our body. This is our mind.
Mhm.
We are the owners of. We take this body to take new experiences, to take new. And once the lessons are over, this body is of no use. Then we again get detached from this body also. And then there is moksha. Then there is nirvana. Then there is salvation.
Mhm.
because the mind has now,
Mhm.
so mind is a, a software between the hardware and the access to the mind is. So when we understand the breath, we understand the mind. When we understand the mind, we understand the body. And we understand all this, we understand that this is not who I am. And I get connected to the body and the mind and the breath without being attached. So the journey will start from this point. And the easiest way to start the journey is from something which we can feel, which is happening every moment. We don't do it. it so doing is in the space of.
Mhm. Mhm. Just happening. Yeah. Without. Mhm. Mhm.
When we start observing, because in
Mhm.
observation lies the whole essence of.
Mhm.
When we observe a movie on, there is a romantic couple and one of the couple partners dies or something happens, something sad. We don't have grief, but we understand that this is a movie because we are
Mhm.
observers, we are audiences, we are not the heroes. Well, the whole art of a movie is that the direct make us feel that we are the heroes or the actors, and
Mhm.
we replace them and we think this is who we are. This is So in the same way, it is in the life also. When we are just an audience in the world theater, everything, and we will still remain connected to it without getting. So let's start the journey from the breath.
That's
Obs-
beautiful. Yeah, about the breath, I think we also gonna record separate episode because I believe like, I love breath work and you taught me a lot and here we practicing breath work different ways and I know how important is that and it's I but it's underestimated, right? A lot of people they don't use the tool that they have a free tool and they not consciously breathing, right? It's very important, but we're gonna talk about it later because that's another story. But I also wanna, yeah, I love when you said that the universe is so smart and everything works perfectly. Like, just remind me when I was in, we were in Mumbai 2 years ago, you and we were so scared on the streets, and then because it was so very chaotic and but it was no accidents. It was perfectly fine, right? We were laughing that it works perfectly.
what-
The universe works perfectly. I always, when I teach other girls too about the conscious, mindful weight loss, I always say, do not disturb. It's no diet about the weight, it's because I went through the long journey and what helped me to understand that do not disturb your body, right? So first you have to, of course, detox to be clear because those days we have a detox we have toxins everywhere. So we have to, once we detox, we clear our body. So then we're going to be able to, voice whispers that it say like you said that oh I need trifla or I need cup of water instead of chocolate, right? Or some, and I try to explain my girls like what is the difference between real hunger and desire, like craving, right? If you hungry, so you getting hungry. It's I don't have to eat right now. It's noon, or I'm getting hungry, but I can eat like in hour, 2, 3. But if I want something right now, so it's like, that's not hunger. That's your craving.
Yes. Because hunger is a need of the body and
Exactly.
craving is a desire of the mind.
Yes.
Yeah. So when we understand the mind and when we understand, I have
Mhm.
seen people who stay without food and water for decades, not
I
years,
know. We
decades.
just talked about it last week. Yeah. It's unbelievable. How is that possible, right?
Yeah. But as we were talking that last week, that everything is connected. We also need to be connected. Our body and the mind is made up of five basic elements. This is
Mhm.
called Pancha Mahabhut. And the body has the capacity
Mhm.
transform this Mahabhutas because they're all connected. So
Mhm.
this is
Mhm.
each finger represents the
Yeah.
element. This is fire. This is
Mhm.
air,
Mhm.
element,
Mhm.
element earth, and element. They look different, but they are all connected at the base.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
once they are connected, we have an called mudra, which gives this transformation.
Mhm.
So suppose I need more air. So this is air, and this transformation happens through fire. This is fire. This is sun. So whatever you give fire to, that transforms to different energy. So if my body needs air, and I do like this
Mhm.
pran mudra, so the body starts taking the bioforce, which is called prana,
Mhm.
through the air. Body starts taking bioforce from the space, from the from the.
Mhm.
So these mudras also help us
Mhm.
to fulfill the need of the body. My
Mhm.
mind may desire whatever. But need is taken care of. So the science of the Vedas, the ancient wisdom of Vedas taught us this, that you
Mhm.
can stay without food and water for a long time because the body has everything. It just needs to try.
Do you have any mudras that help when you very like hungry if you have cravings for something, so you have like supportive mudras that may help to stop for a moment and
Feeling very,
Mhm.
you want to drink something and you desire to drink, say, juice or.
Mhm.
So what does the body need at that moment is what.
Mhm.
So let's try to connect.
Mhm.
This is water element. Let's
Yeah.
try to connect the
Mhm.
and do a cooling pranayam. Cooling pranayams reduce the heat. When the heat is reduced in the body, the thirst also gets balanced.
Mhm.
So there are two pranayams which are very easy to do. These are also with the breath, but this breath is from the mouth. Generally, the breath is from the nose, either left or the. So cooling pranayams are one is through the nose and two through the. One
Okay.
cooling is through the moon. This is our moon, which is called Ida, the left channel, left
Mhm.
nostril, Ida.
Mhm.
The right one is, which is also called Pingala, which is the hot one, and this is the cold one. So when the body is very hot, it needs water, thirst. So we close the left nostril, right nostril, and breathe in from. Inhale from left,
Mhm.
close the left, and exhale from right. Gently, long exhalation. Relax the body and do this for a couple. Inhale from left and exhale. So we will observe that the heat
Mhm.
in the body has balanced
Mhm.
and the thirst has also balanced. Because our body is made up of 72% of liquids. How
Yes.
come? How come
Mm.
it's because it's more of the desire. If the body is hot, the mind will say, put some water, put some water, put some water. But there is a technique to also. Like there is another pranayam which.
Mhm.
And when you roll it outside, you suck in the air in from that rolling, like when the roll tongue, suck
Yeah. Yeah.
in from the mouth and release from. This is also cooling down pranayam.
Especially because you have such a hot weather, so for you
Yeah.
it's very practical.
Yes, yes, yes. So we use this when it is too hot, we use either like this, or we have another technique called sheath curry. This was sheathali, and this is shari, where we clench the teeth,
Mm-hmm.
open the lips, and just suck in the air.
Oh, mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this noise should also
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
release from the nose. When you do couple of times, the body cools down. The need for the water element becomes less dependent upon the external sources. It balances from within. So
Yeah,
when
I
you feel
remember.
hungry, you can give yourself.
Ah, okay.
So when you give, you feel good. Keep the mudra. Yeah. And look at the breath at that time when you connect with the earth. And when you need to observe the breath, come to the breath to come to the
Mm-hmm.
air. And when you need to observe everything, come to the
Mm-hmm. Okay.
because we exist in the space and space exists within us. Like the
Mm-hmm.
science taught us,
Mm-hmm.
if the entire space is removed from the whole universe, we can have the entire mass of the universe in our fist. The universe is not bigger than this. The matter is not beyond this space. But it's because of the space that we see the manifestation of this
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, look at that. We talk almost 1 hour.
almost. Yes. And
No,
we
but
can talk
sometimes
for
we can talk
10 hours.
forever, right? Sometimes, yeah. It's like, oh my God, come on, dude. We already talked 4 hours. But yeah, but I decided it's like, oh my God, we have to share your wisdom with broader audience, right?
Thank you. Thank you. We all learn.
I really, really appreciate and I want to thank you for your wisdom, for your deep presence, and for your openness. And also, I want to thank my beautiful listeners for joining us for this soul conversation. That will be name of the series, I guess, like a soul meetings. And they also, that's the conversation today reminded me that the real freedoms doesn't mean we stop caring. Like it means that we care without fear, like you said. We can give without expectation. We love without needing to possess. Right? And let these words plant seed in your heart, dear listeners. And may they remind you that it's possible to live deeply, love truly, and still be free. So until next time, with love and light, Sophie and Kamaljit.
So
Thank you. Thank
you,
you.
lot of
Mhm.
blessings. May we all start the journey from this point of who we are and spread out. Go inside and spread.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste.